Hello, I am Quinny. Welcome to the channel. In this video today, guys, I'm going to be doing a pro lineup builder. So normally what we do for these big game weeks is we'll do a live stream. The live chat will be vibrant and buzzing. You guys will be dropping in the latest and greatest of information for lineups and injuries and suspensions and all that good stuff. But for this video, what I thought I would do is a pre-record and show you exactly a nice condensed version of how I go about building my teams, the success I've had with that in the past, so that if you are new to the game, you don't need to watch a 1 hour stream and maybe I mention this one element or maybe I mention that one element. In this little video today, I'm going to make it nice and concise, straight to the point, and show you all the kind of real hot spots that you need to touch in your game week habits for setting your teams to make sure you don't miss a trick, you optimize your lineups as best as possible, and you target the reward you actually want to win. At any point, guys, in the video, if you do laugh, learn, like something, whatever, please do me a massive favor and smash that thumbs up button below. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of March. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. It goes a long way to supporting the cause and helping us reach our goals. Without any further ado, guys, let's get stuck into it. Now, as you'll be able to see, if you go into Sorare Data and Manager Scout for Quinny, you'll find me and you can check out all my statistics and all the rest of yada yada. I started my journey on game week 83, which is like 160 game weeks ago, it would feel. And over that time, I've won 145 rewards, winning 2 divisions, which has been great fun. If any of you are interested, this is like the first set of teams I managed to get out, and it's actually quite funny to see. I've still got the Schubert, I've still got the Soler, I've still got the Larson. Up until very recently, I still had the Kang and the Gabriel, Mancini and Johnny Russell were legends at the club who have recently departed also. But over that time, guys, over the last 200 or 160 game weeks or whatever, there's lots of hints, tricks and tips that I've picked up along the way. And this average, even though it looks like on average I win 1 reward every week, to be honest with you, the majority of my rewards get concentrated into these kind of segments of the calendar that I'm super excited about to go through with these at the moment, which is when everything's active. The Americans, the Asians, the Europeans, everything's up and running and going. And this is when I get extra excited about the game weeks and building my teams and where I can really be competitive. The first place we're going to start is the prize pools. So the very first thing you have to do every game week is work out what you actually are aiming to win. Is it just threshold? Is that a card? Whatever. We're going to use the prize pools and then some data that we're going to come across in Sorare Data to try and work out the best divisions for me to be targeting. Where is my apex, my priority team going to go into? So I'll start with Super Rare and work my way down. So Super Rare, I'm going to have 1 entry from the looks of it. The prize pools get 30 cards for 304 entrants. Point of recording, that's about 10% prize category. We've got a Star Rare at the top, tier 1s for the rest of the podium, tier 2s to top 11, okay, and then tier 3s for 12 to 30, which is actually pretty generous for this level. And the Rare and the All-Star Rare division, we're getting paid back prices back to 462. It's a tier 3 party, in the words of my pal Max HG. We've also got the threshold payments there for hitting base scores for beating the game, which is cool. And then beyond that, to be honest with you guys, to get 100 payouts on tier 2 for division 4 is actually pretty decent. I actually quite like that. Tier 1s for the top 33, Star Rares for the top 8. I normally like Star Rares to get to top 10, but for this to be a division 4, I think that's quite a generous pool, to be quite honest with you. And again, I'm not one of these accounts that plots and charts all of the game week prize pools and stuff, so I stand to be corrected. But that looks good to me. All-Star Pro, we're getting Star Rares back to 17, so that's very appealing. Tier 1s up to 66, and Tier 2s make up the top 100 prize pool. So that's pretty generous. There's only 1,500 entrants, and as we know, generally speaking, a lot of managers will go into this really heavy, but there will be a clutch of managers that are going into this with a hit and hope. Under 23 Rare, we're getting Star Rares back for top 5, so you really need to be very confident in your team to be able to pull out a big prize. Tier 1s for the top 15 is cool, and then Tier 2s from 16 to 60 I think is acceptable. But then again, a huge Tier 3 party, 61 to 180. So the D4s are actually pretty generous on that tail, on that Tier 3 payout. In the Pro Division, we've got 348 entrants, and we're looking at picking up prizes for the top 40. Star Rares for top 10 is probably the only thing that this prize pool has going for it, because it's so shallow on Tier 1. There's only 19 of them, and on tier 2s there's only 9 of them, so there's not very much. If you were going to back your team to get top 30, the prize pool's pretty much where you would want it to be anyway. But if you're having a hit and hope team, under 23 Rare Pro is a dead division this week. I wouldn't go anywhere near it. You really need the tippy top cards fighting there this game week. And Champion Euro Rare, We're getting a close to 1,400 entrants. Star rares are for the top 5 only. Tier 1s make up the top 20, which is okay, I suppose. Tier 2s back to 90, which is pretty generous. And then against a Tier 3 party, 91 to 240. Plenty of prizes getting paid out in Champion Euro D4 or rare. In the Rare Pro, we're getting about 325 entrants by the time the clock ticks in. We're getting star rares for the top 11. That's the second biggest star rare payout this game week. That's interesting. Thus far, I've not looked at all the regions. Tier 1's back to 33. That's appealing. Tier 2's back to 45. So that's much better than the under 23 division. And I can definitely see some cards that would have went to U23 coming into Champion Euro this game week. So that may become a bit more competitive. I don't think I've got anything to really be floundering around with these other ones, but we'll have a gander at them. Challenger Pro is getting stars. So the top 14, jumping Jesus, you would expect that because of the card count, of course. For just the rare division, star rares for the top 5. We're getting about 270 tier 2s getting paid, tier 3s getting paid out. Very generous prize pool in Challenger, to be honest with you. It's be a good division to fight in. I'm not going to look at America, so it's just too bare at the moment. Asia, we've only got the J League back, I think, for this game week. It's just top 4 for stars. There's no K League back as of yet. So the prize pools for rare tell me a lot of different things that I need to be mindful of when I'm picking my best rares and my best super rares, because there's a lot of different dynamics on in this game week. On top of the head count for these divisions that we just spoke about, we've also got an increase in fixtures. So in under 23s and an all-star, they're going to be extra competitive on what they have been in the last few weeks, and I need to bear that in mind. When it comes to limiteds, we're getting about 18,000 entrants into all-star. Just under 2,000 cards will be paid out. We're getting star rares for the top, star limiteds, I beg your pardon, for the top 35. We're getting tier 1s for the top 155. Tier 2s from 156 to 565, so that's like, what, 400 tier 2 limiteds, and then we're getting about 1,400 tier 3 limited. So the limited prize pool is very generous and very welcoming. In Champion Euro, we're getting about 4,000 or 5,000 entrants, something like that. Star limiteds for the top 15, which is cool. Tier 1 limiteds for the top 60. And then we're getting about 150 Tier 2 Champion Euro limiteds, and we're getting about 250 Tier 3 Champion Euro limiteds. So very generous prize pools, and we're going for Challenger in this game week as well. It looks like top 20 get Star limiteds. That's lovely. 21 to 75 will pick up a tier 1, about 180 or so will get a tier 2, and then around 350 will get a tier 3 limited. So the prize pools are pretty good. Now, one prize pool I have been overlooking a lot is the special weekly. Now, in the special weekly, we're approaching 1,000 entrants. There's 53 super rares getting paid out and 35 rares. On yesterday, guys, I dropped a video, my £37,000 team that you can buy. Okay, now, one thing I didn't actually highlight in that video in the final edit, unfortunately, is some of the cards that I won that are, some of the cards that are in that team I won, like the Matarita, the Brooks Lennon, Ronald Hernandez. There's a few supers that I won as rewards, make up that team. And I won the Matarita as a tier 2 or a tier 3 super rare for winning D3 Rare Pro. I think you used to get a super and a rare payout on that, but that prize equivalent is now available in the special weekly. So even if you want to take that video a wee bit more literally, in a year, 2 years from now, that could be exactly the sort of teams you're building. And the tier 3 the tier 3, the tier 2 supers that come good, you might be picking them up from the special weekly. We're getting super rares for the top 53 places. Now, fair enough, half of them are tier 3 supers, and the majority of them are it's a real bag of jaggies, as we say on the channel. You know, it could be something good, could be something useful, could be dead, you know. So take it with a grain of salt. But when we get to the top 25, basically, we're getting tier 2 supers and above, and you've got a much better opportunity of them actually being worth their weight in salt. You get a tier 1 super for winning the thing. There's no ETH on offer for the podium, which is part of the thing that does put me off special weekly, because if I do win, I want to win as much as possible. And if I'm going to have a score that hits a podium, I want to be collecting ETH, you know. Now that we've assessed the prize pools, the first thing I always do is go to Sorare Data and do my Sorare Data 11. The reason I always do this is because now I've got an idea of the prize pools, right? So I can put that to one side and keep that in the back of my head. And then the reason I'll come here and do this next, and I'll always say FC Barcelona, that's the name of my club. It's the way we roll. We always play 3-4-3 in the Sorare Data 11. And the reason I do that, by the time we finish this, I'm going to have my 3 best defenders, my 4 best midfielders, and my 3 best forwards, without any prejudice on the scarcity of the card, without any prejudice on what region I can play it in, how much I like it, how good the fixture will come into it, of course it does, but without any of these prejudices that can dilute and pollute your thought process. So what I can see after filling this in is it looks like Kim Sung-gyu is going to be my best goalkeeper option. My best 3 defenders this game week on likelihood of starting and opposition and fixture and congestion and all that kind of fun stuff. Looks like Harwood Bellis, Josko Guardiola and Theo Hernandez. The funny thing about the 3 of them is they're all U23, which is interesting. So I've got got a lot of variety in defence this week for that. I can see that straight away. Midfield is actually really tough to pick, but I went for the guys that were the most decisive capable. Sensei's at home to Empoli, who've got one of the worst defences in the league, and he's kind of playing up front, even though being a midfielder. Same thing goes for Arturo Osaka. Brais Mendes is playing bottom of the league, and Wirtz is Wirtz. He's in great form, and he's away to Mainz, who are a very open team, and hopefully he can contribute accordingly. And then the front three, Celtic, Jota and Rio, they're playing Dundee at home, and Sane has Firth, which is like one of the worst teams in the Bundesliga. So I think that is my best 11 top to bottom. And what I'm hoping to do in the lineup builder is get as many of these guys in the same team together as I possibly can, and I can actually see a spine of something that I know that I've built already before getting into the lineup builder. So the first team I'm going to build is going to be my super rare team, because that's just going to be the most restricted on scarcity and stuff like that. Average points needed to pick up a reward is 381, so that's a target for me to beat. And this is the super rare team I'm going to be rocking out for this game week. All these guys are locked in starters. Most of them are at home except for Enes Unal, who's away to Cadiz. That's a real 6-pointer for Getafe. He's in great form. He's in to start on all the predicted lineups, and he's goal dangerous, you know. So I'm hoping this team can smash away. As you can see with the opposition score, Gomez, as long as he starts against Troy, should have a good game, and I'm actually really optimistic. I don't know if I'm going to be in contention to go on and smash and try and win this division, but definitely going to be competitive with this team, no two ways about it. Now that aside, the next division I'm really going to prioritise, as always, is the All-Star Rare Pro. When I looked at the prize pools, it was just the most generous payout on everything, and I know with the calibre of team that I've got, potentially that's a division I can be really fighting for. And as you can see here, Tier 1, we're really looking to get over 380 points to get into that Tier 1 category, and generally speaking, my best All-Star Pro team is capable of around that 400 mark, so I always want to be entertaining this division as best I possibly can. When I'm coming down to actually pick my players, the first thing I'll do is I'll sort by opposition average score and then work from there. You might bring up some guys that aren't actually playing, and it's just about filtering past them, find the guys that are playing, who's got a good fixture, and then using all the information that's available on Sorare data. These percentages underneath the fixture represents the Unibet odds for a home win, a draw, and an away win, so you can get a good indication if you're not close to these teams, not close to these divisions, on who the favourite is or who's in form and who's the stronger of the two teams. So for under 23 pro, again, I'm trying to not be biased at all with scarcity and with fixtures, that kind of thing, but based on the Sorare data 11 and then going through all the opposition statistics everyone we just spoke about, I think this is my strongest under 23 rare pro team. And when I look at the score required to get right in amongst it, I think this team is more than capable of doing that. Now at this stage, guys, what I'm going to do is I'll run through my lineup builder teams, and then with the Sorare data information, I can weigh up the team and then the minimum points on average required to pick up a reward, and I can kind of weigh up how competitive I feel that team is, okay? So we'll start from the bottom and work our way up, okay? So I've got under 23 rare pro. On average, I'm going to need 326 points, including multiplier, to get any sort of reward. And with the capabilities and the fixtures these guys have, that is achievable. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm confident that can do the job. And under 23 rare, we need 262 points to be picking up a prize. As we've seen, the tail end of the tier 3 pool is quite large. But this team, I'm expecting to go really high. Really big fixtures, good averages, great guys, great form. Everything. So yeah, super confident with that team, no problem at all. Champion Euro Rare Pro, we need 347 points on average to get the last reward available. And again, if these guys come off, I've not really got a problem with getting to 350 points before multipliers and captains and stuff kick in. So again, if things go the way I expect them to, this team is definitely built to be competitive, no two ways about it. With Champion Rare, 280 points to be picking up any sort of reward. So that takes a wee bit of the pressure off Falcao getting a decisive, although I still back him to do so. And the rest of the guys are pretty good for their fixture. We concern on Robbo rotation since this Tsimikas has came along, gives me nightmares, but yeah, Robbo should start and should do well. But because of that slight, maybe they play Tsimikas in preparation for the Inter Milan game. Oh no, actually Inter Milan won't be next week, will it? Inter Milan is in March. Maybe we'll reposition Robbo, let's see. Champion Euro Limited, 288 points. Again, if Haaland plays, quite confident we can achieve what's required with that team. And Challenger Euro Limited, 279 points to be getting into a prize. And again, with this team and the scores and the fixtures I've got, I feel that that's built to win. 381 points in the Super Rare division. And again, with the fixture that my captain, Super Rare, and my unique has, very confident that can happen. I need a goal from Enes Unal, and hopefully Taylor Harwood-Bellis can get close to 60 just on AA game only. I'm not expecting him to get decisives. And if Gomez can get his clean sheet, then yeah, 381 for me is there for the taking. It really is. The priority division, the one that we're really hoping takes off, my best players and the best team. We need a minimum of 361 points on average to get the worst reward available. And this team is definitely built for 400 and above. So I'm quite including multipliers and captain bonuses, of course, and that makes me very confident going into this. I just need them all to start. I need them to do their thing. I'm expecting Asaka, again, he kind of plays up front, so I'm expecting him to get decisive, get some good AA. I'm expecting Tio to get a clean sheet and get some sort of goal contribution of some sort. I'm expecting Sane and Tatate to run amok in their home fixtures this weekend, and Goose get a good game. So yeah, no questions about that. I'm buzzing for it. The Eve Bashers are all good. I just need Timo to start, or just to feature. Even if he gets 25 points from the bench, I can probably live with that. But again, decent players and good teams, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over this only bringing in 250 points. We need to get 322 if we want a reward. So if we can get Werner to start against Palace and get a decisive, that could work. But that's what it's contingent on. And in my best All-Star Unlimited team, average points required for a prize is 281. And yeah, I can see my team blasting through that with the fixtures and the form that all these guys are in. So I feel like all my teams are very competitive and very well built to win. When we then go through the game week, guys, what I'll be doing is favoriting all the players, the ones that I really want to follow. Because I've got a lot of players on the Sorare Data app, I'm just going to highlight the guys for me to get push notifications on, and the teams that I'm the most excited about, because they're the ones that, even though I've got 10 teams here, okay? I'm only really excited about 3 or 4 of them. The rest of them, we'll see what happens. I'm not too bothered. But I want to keep my focus on my big players and my big games, because the teams that I'm putting the best players together, they're the ones that you really need to get to know intimately. How does the manager rate them? What is their actual form looking like? If it's like a J-League guy and the season's just starting, getting that early indication on how they're going to pan out over the season is going to become invaluable as the season rolls on. So it's important, if you do have a lot of cards active, that you try and keep your deliberate attention, your deliberate focus on the key guys, the guys that you're really hoping and expecting are going to produce for you on the SO5 pitch for the coming weeks and months. Hope you've enjoyed this one, guys. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share and retweet, all that good stuff. Stay out of trouble, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Terrible.